Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. Thanks for joining us for today's session, which is the magic of Papa John's social media campaign. This is actually a re-recording of our webinar because we had some technical difficulties during the original webinar and lost that recording. So I'm going to go ahead and begin. My name is Ian Desher. I'm the Digital Marketing Specialist at Pivot Group. Pivot has just introduced a new social media startup kit that we want you to know about. It includes creation of your digital marketing plan, establishment of your Facebook and Twitter pages, custom artwork and training, and then other options that will help you to increase your social media connections, help you with your posts, and also help you run some Facebook ads if you'd like to do that. So just know that that is available to you at any time. Now we'll go ahead and jump into the news. It's been something of a slow 2 weeks in the world of social media, but there are still some juicy tidbits to share. Last time I talked a lot about the Facebookification of social media and how a lot of social networks are resembling Facebook more and more. One small bit of news this week was MySpace beginning to allow their users to push their MySpace updates directly to Facebook. As commentator Jemima Kiss wrote, MySpace's strategy for competing with Facebook appears to be, if you can't beat them, join them. Groupon, the site that sends out location-specific daily coupons, ran a promotion on Thursday the 19th for The Gap that allowed customers to buy a $50 Gap gift card for only $25. This one-day promotion sold more than 441,000 units for a total sales of just over $11 million. $11 million in one day. Since then, retailers have started flocking to Groupon, hoping to get their own deals listed with what has now quickly become the most important social media coupon site around. During the original webinar, one of the questions that we got, the question that I answered at the end of the webinar was about how Groupon works. I don't know the total details of how it works for companies that want to sell with Groupon, and I did promise to report back on that at our next webinar, which is in 2 weeks from now on September 17th. However, what I can tell you is that when there's a Groupon promotion like this one for The Gap, what has to happen is that a certain number of people have to agree that they're going to buy into the deal before the deal actually happens. And then as you can see here on this screen, once that certain threshold has been reached, there's this sign that says the deal is on, which means that yes, in fact, this is going to happen, and you know, everybody who purchases it is in fact going to get it. So companies, I am 99% sure that the companies who sign on with Groupon can determine what threshold that is. So how many customers they want to have buy this before it's actually worth their money to go ahead and run the promotion as a whole. Clearly, it was wildly successful for The Gap. Also, some of the details that are there that you can see in the heading called the fine print, those are also things that the company, in this case The Gap, gets to define. This particular deal, customers were paying $25 for $50 worth of apparel at The Gap, but it wasn't just a $50 gift card. A gift card would not ever expire. It's something you would be able to use multiple times, and you could use it for purchases of any amount. This particular deal with Groupon, what The Gap did was they said, well, it has to be used by a certain date in November, and it has to be spent all in one trip, not in multiple trips, and it has to be a minimum of $50 worth of clothes. So realistically, somebody couldn't go in and purchase a $45 sweater and then leave because they had to spend at least $50 or more. And so realistically, somebody would have to go in and buy that $45 sweater and maybe a $12 shirt, end up spending $57, and so they are paying with their $50 store credit, but then also paying The Gap an extra $7. So that is the nutshell of how Groupon works, and I'll have more information next time about how companies can get hooked up with it. So that's that, a little bit of an expanded news item there. Next news item, after social media news site Digg recently redesigned its interface, its disgruntled users began promoting articles through Digg that had links to one of Digg's rival sites, which is called Reddit. The message Digg's users sent was loud and clear. If you redesign in a way we don't like, we'll make sure people are driven elsewhere. This user-led squabble, which is the social media equivalent of civil disobedience or maybe a riot, is emblematic not only of how users are king when it comes to social media, but also of how social media sites are always in direct competition with each other. That's why we see so many sites adopting their rivals' designs and functionality, why we see a company like Facebook creating Facebook Places in hopes of taking over Foursquare, or why we see a big company like Google starting to eye its way into the social media gaming world. Speaking of big companies getting into social media, on Wednesday, Apple announced a new iTunes-based social network called Ping. Ping is intended to connect iTunes users so you can see what your friends are listening to and buying on iTunes, what their interests are, and so on. You can see my newly created profile here with my picture still processing even after several hours, and of course no recent activity. But there are some albums up in the top right-hand corner that I bought songs from, including, yes, some Raffi. And so far, after playing around with it for a while, I have to admit I am not taken with Ping. When you click on the People button, you're taken to a place where you can connect Ping with your friends. Well, it says right here that you can connect with Facebook, but try as I couldn't get it to connect with my Facebook profile. And I'm not the only one. Friends of mine and articles I found online were complaining about the same thing. It turns out that Facebook actually blocked Ping's access to its API, its Application Programming Interface, because Facebook feared iTunes' 160 million users would cause Facebook to crash. So clearly there's going to be some work to be done to get Ping on its feet if Apple wants it to be successful. But if it does take off as hoped, Ping could be especially bad news for MySpace, which has been unique among social media sites for really emphasizing music. So Ping is one to watch. Here's some takeaways from the news. First, with one more example of the Facebookification of MySpace, just keep your eyes open as more sites roll out Facebook-like features, even as Facebook keeps rolling out new technology to take on other sites. And as I've said before, if you haven't given Facebook a try yet, what are you waiting for? The takeaway from Groupon's hit deal with The Gap is that online coupons are a winner, and Groupon in particular has hit on a great idea by making those coupons local. How can you take this idea and run with it? How can you offer coupons, particularly with local companies in your area? Better yet, maybe your company would be right for a Groupon deal. I'm on Portland's Groupon email list, and I can tell you that the companies they work with are both the huge, like The Gap, and the tiny, like a local chiropractic agency who recently ran a Groupon promotion. So think about contacting Groupon and giving them a try, and as I promised, I will have more information about how to do that next time around. The user takeover of Digg is a macro version of something that can happen on a micro level within your own social media page if you're not careful. Just as the users of Digg revolted against their new interface design, social media connections and fans can turn quickly against the companies they find online. In other words, because users are king when it comes to social media, one thing always to be careful about on your Facebook page or Twitter feed is not upsetting your customers, particularly not to the extent where they shame you publicly as Digg's users did. The old phrase, the customer is always right, might be put differently in social media as the user is king. Finally, though I think Apple's introduction of Ping is going to take a while to catch on, Apple's move into social media and its hope that it will help to sell a lot more songs, TV shows, and movies is indicative in general of the change that continues to go on in how we get our media. On the same day Apple announced Ping to the world, Apple also announced a new $99 version of Apple TV, along with 99-cent TV shows and $4.99 movie rentals. Particularly for our telecommunications customers, you'll want to remain aware of how Apple is moving into TV and mixing it with social media, and start preparing for a world in which our media comes to us online rather than through the cable box. Now let's move into the focus, which is going to make you hungry, the magic of the Papa John's social media campaign. I'll start this focus section by just telling you the story of the Papa John's social media campaign, which is called the Pizza Challenge. It's a good story and not a complicated one, though it went on for over 4 months. The campaign began back in April with a Facebook post on Papa John's Facebook page. They presented the announcement on a Friday, saying there was going to be a major announcement the following Monday. Essentially, they were generating some buzz. The following Monday, April 26th, the announcement came out. Papa John's would be holding a contest to let their fans come up with a new pizza. Choose from some ingredients, send a catchy description of your pie, and you could win. And the prize was a good one, up to $10,000 cash, $480 worth of pizza every year for 50 years, and of course the fame of being the big winner. And the entries started pouring in. Papa John's let entries accumulate for almost 2 months until June 14th. By the time the entries closed, they had received over 12,000 pizza suggestions. 2 weeks later, on June 29th, Papa John's held a live video stream press conference to announce the 3 finalists in the Pizza Challenge. The video was then, of course, put on their Facebook page. The next day, celebrity judges came to do a taste test of the 10 finalist pizzas. These judges then narrowed the field down to 3 pizzas. I don't know how you get to be an expert pizza taster, but I am interested in that job. After the 3 finalists were announced, the 3 women who suggested the pizzas were brought into the process. According to a recent article by Clicks.com, it was once Papa John's got the 3 women involved that the interest in the campaign really took off. The first move, on August 5th, was to bring the 3 finalists to the Papa John's corporate offices to make their pizzas. The 3 women each made a short video introducing their pizza, and Papa John's gave each of them a budget of $1,000 to promote their pizza. Each of the 3 women then made their own Facebook page to drum up support for the pizza they had created. These Facebook pages are run by the women themselves, not Papa John's, and each has the unique personality of the woman in charge. Kendra Chapman, designer of the Work and Fire Pizza, is a volunteer firefighter, and you can see her Facebook page here. Blair Dial, creator of the Big Bonanza Pizza, is actually a marketing professional. It's not surprising, maybe, that her pizza has almost 1,200 likers on Facebook, far more than the other 2 pizzas. And last but not least, Barbara Hyman, a holistic healer from California, created the Cheesy Chicken Cordon Bleu Pizza and has promised to donate any winnings to the World Wildlife Foundation. The Papa John's website featured the 3 pizzas on its homepage. If you look closely at the bottom there, you can see that there are Facebook like buttons for each of the 3 pizzas, showing how many likers each pizza has. You could order the pizzas from any Papa John's, and ultimately the winner would be determined by which pizza sold the most between August 2nd and August 29th. At the bottom of their website pages, of course, Papa John makes it as easy as possible for you to find them and follow them through social media. As you can see here, the Papa John's Facebook page had a similar introduction to the 3 pizzas and a link to order online. They kept their sites consistent throughout, and their Twitter feed has regularly promoted the Pizza Challenge contest as well. For these 4 months, Papa John's primary corporate focus has been this contest. During all of this, Papa John's has also maintained an active Facebook presence beyond the promotion. Their discussion board is used regularly by their customers, and from what I could tell, although Papa John's does sometimes post their own discussion topics, as you can see here with the post about the Pizza Challenge, it appears that in general, Papa John's doesn't moderate or respond to the discussions going on their Facebook page. They don't respond to questions, they don't respond to complaints. In general, they have let the discussion boards be a place for their fans, not for corporate communication. I also found that, generally speaking, Papa John's doesn't moderate or respond to customer comments on their wall. It's clearly a choice they've made as a company. The consequence of that choice is that unhappy customer comments, and there are a lot, are just left without comment or explanation by Papa John's. You can see one angry customer comment at the top here about an order gone wrong, and then the next person offers a complaint about the level of public discourse on the Papa John's Facebook page. I'll say something more in a minute about this strategy that Papa John's has of not responding to these sorts of comments. First, though, let me reassure you that Pivot is committed to its research. Research for this webinar wasn't just an exploration of an online campaign. We got serious about this one and put our money where our mouth is. Or maybe I should say we put our mouths where Papa John's money is. We ordered the Big Bonanza, the Work and Fire, the Chicken Cordon Bleu Pizza, and then we ate them. There was a clear winner in the office, and I'll reveal that at the end.